Yo, what's going on, guys? And we are here doing post-lottery mock draft. We'll probably run through this real quickly, but now that we have the knowledge of all the picks, we're going to go through this. I'll go ahead and say which picks I think could be traded, might be traded. But I'm not going to sit here and speculate trades. We'll do that in a different one. But obviously, Atlanta here on the board first. Look. Atlanta's not keeping this pick. I don't care what the reports say. Atlanta, if they keep this pick, it's like $13 million that they would have to eat towards the cap. It might be 20. And this is a team that doesn't pay the luxury tax. They're already going to trade somebody because they don't want to pay the luxury tax. If they draft somebody, they're gonna have to trade two people. So it's gonna be easier for them to package this pick with a guy like DeAndre Hunter or with a guy like Bogdanovich or Clint Capella to get a better player. That's my 2 cents. But to entertain this, if I were Atlanta, who would I take? I think at that point, the guy that could be plug and play for them would be Zachary Rissache. And Alex Sarr, I think, is the best player. And that's who the Wizards are going to take. But I just don't see Alex Sarr fitting regardless if they keep Clint Capella. Like, he doesn't fit next to Onyeka Okongwu. The spacing would not work. He's not a good enough shooter now, nor is Onyeka giving me enough confidence to be the guy that you would rely for him to be next to. Now, the Rockets are another team that I expect them to be aggressive and to trade this pick. But for some reason, if they were to keep this pick, they don't need a big. They don't necessarily need a wing. Like, they have Dylan Brooks right there right now, and they have Amen Thompson if he's a guard or a wing. I really think they just need shooting. And knowing Ime Udoka, Reed Shepherd makes sense right here, being kind of like a Kirk Heinrich. At 4, I think Nikola Topic going to the Spurs makes the most sense. They need a ball handler. 5, at this point, either you reach and you take Dalton Connect because you're going to be able to play day one. I think they're a type of team that either Cody Williams or Mateus Buzelis makes the most sense. I would say Cody Williams. But first off, Cody Williams is smaller in person than what he's listed at 6'8". I'm 6'1", man. Cody Williams is like 6'6", bro. I stood next to him. He's not that, like, Alex Sarr. I walked by Alex Sarr, and Alex Sarr's freaking huge. Huge. While I walked by Cody Williams, I was like, okay, you're like not too big. Now, I just have there at the Pistons, they'll take Buzelis. That seems like a pick they'll do. Now, the Hornets, this becomes interesting. They'll either take Dalton Connect, Ron Holland, or Cody Williams. And I just see this as a front office that probably sees Cody Williams, and they're banking on the fact that he's going to be his brother, which I think he's closer to Patrick Williams. Now, I think Portland will take Ron Holland because they want defense. The Spurs have a pick again, and they took Topic with the last one. I think they take Dalton Connect then with the 8th pick. They want to win now. He's a win now guy. While now with Memphis, Memphis got rid of Steven Adams. So if they don't believe in Jaren Jackson Jr. being the center, which I don't, you take Donovan Clingan and he's plug and play. I think right here, if you're Utah, just looking at the roster, you don't have a true point guard, but you do have a bunch of scorers at the guard position. So I'd take Stephen Castle, regardless if you don't know he's a true point guard. We don't know what's going to happen to Zach LaVine, but we expect he's leaving. So I would take Rob Dillingham to help be like kind of that replacement for them if he does leave. Now, OKC, I originally had them taking Kyle Filipowski, and he's still a guy that's going to be on the board. I just think the idea of Kyle Filipowski next to Chet Holmgren makes the most sense. Now, right here, I think Jacoby Walter is a good pick for the Kings. They're probably going to lose Malik Monk. I had Rob Dillingham going here in the last mock draft if he did slip. I just think they'll take a guy like Jacoby Walter would help them have an easier time replacing Malik Monk, in my opinion. The next pick is again the Blazers, and they took Ron Holland. I think at this point they would take Tejan Saloon, who's a power forward, 4-3, up on 15. And I've said for a while, Devin Carter seems like the guy they would go. I know 15 might be a reach. They might trade back. I just think with the pool of players available from Carson Carrington, Keyshawn George, Bobby Clintman, Kevin McCullough, Tyler Smith, Yves Messi, Jared McCain, Tristan Da Silva, Devin Carter, Zach Edey, Isaiah Collier. I think Devin Carter makes the most sense. Plus, he grew up within that building. OKC at 16. I think they're a team that would take Kevin McCullough if they keep that pick. New Orleans is moving on from Jonas Valanciunas. So the easy answer would be Zach Edey, but I think Yves Messi fits better because they're hoping he can have some like Nick Claxton type of like switchability. At this point, I think at 18, you take Jared McCain to the Orlando Magic. They need shooting, and they'll probably move on from one of their guards. I think here, Isaiah Collier goes to Toronto at 19, and he joins to be Emmanuel Quickley's backup and maybe successor down the road. The Cavs are on the board, and I see them taking a guy like Keyshawn George. They're going to continue to just try to figure out that the need of shooting. I think at 21, you're back on the board. You're the Pelicans. Do you go with another front court player, or do you go with maybe a guy like Johnny Furphy? And I think Johnny Furphy is the guy you go with because you don't know if Brandon Ingram is going to be back. At 22, you're the Suns, and you take Tristan Da Silva because you know he can be like a Larry Nance. The Bucks are on the board, and they seem like the type of team that's probably going to take like Khalil Ware because they're going to have to move on from either Brook Lopez or Bobby Portis. The Knicks are on the board, and they're probably going to have to move on from Mr. Isaiah Hartenstein or Julius Randle. So I think they go for a 4-5, and that's going to be Tyler Smith, in my opinion. Now, the Knicks are back on the clock again, and one might say, should they go for a big man? I would trade back if you were thinking big. But if you really did like one of these bigs, I think a big that they could maybe bring in is, I don't even know if it's a big. I think the guy that they could go after is Ryan Dunn due to the fact that they like him so much and his size. I think Ryan Dunn, not like just his size, but his defensive capabilities. But he's somebody to keep an eye out. Now here we are closing out the first round with the Wizards back on the board. They took Sarr. Right here, they're the type of team that's probably going to take like a guy like Carlton Carrington. Here you got the Wolves, and I think they take Bobby Clintman. He screams a player that would fascinate them. And then you're the Nuggets. If you're the Nuggets, you're going to be a team that I could see them taking a Dylan Jones here. Utah's on the clock. Utah took a guard earlier. Maybe they stop the Zach Edey fall right here. And I think right here at 29, they'll take Zach Edey. At 30, you got yourself Celtics. They take Tyler Kolek because he's just going to be a guy who can help them out from day one. Now the Raptors are on the board. They took a guard with the last pick. They'll take Justin Edwards here. He's kind of like a bigger Trevor Ariza. This is a team that's taking a guard, a big. They'll take a guy like Jalen Tyson, the Utah Jazz. The Bucks, their win now They'll take Terrence Shannon, who can beat the case. And Blazers over here, they've got themselves. I think they're going to look at Ethan Almanza, even as they'll need another big. They'll probably trade that one of theirs. Now, I think we take a Frenchman here, either Pacom. I don't even know if there's another good Frenchman available. I think Pacom is the best available Frenchman, or Melvin Ajinsha, but I think Pacom has been flying up the boards in comparison to Melvin. But I feel like I'm going to do Melvin here over Pacom because we've heard more about him. Now, Cameron Christie's been flying up the board, and we don't know if Benedict Matherin's long-term a pacer dude, so Cameron could be helpful. You're back on the clock with the Wolves. You take a guy like Harrison Ingram, because again, you don't know what's going to happen with Kyle Anderson and some of those guys on the bench. Knicks are on the clock. Dude, they haven't taken a big yet, but the big pool's gone weaker. I think this is where Ugana Onyenso goes. You got yourself Mr. the Grizzlies on the clock. This is a team that's probably going to take Baylor's retirement. They're going to need some more scoring, and it's just going to help space the floor. All right, we're going to run through these a little quicker because I just don't care to keep talking to randomness about this. So I think this is where like Pacom could go to the Blazers at 40. At 41 with the Sixers, they'll take Juan Yunus because they want a win now guy. Then the Hornets, Hunter Salas. Seems like someone good. He's been flying with the board. The Heat have it. We'll go to DeRozan Holmes. Oh no. Now the Rockets have the 44th pick. We'll go with Jai Mitchell. Kings, Payton Samford. Clippers, let's go Trevor Brazil. Magic, Caravan. Spurs will go KJ Simpson as like a pure point guard option. Sixers aren't using this pick, so we'll just take a random dude. Pacers, they'll take Keyshawn Johnson. Then maybe Jackson Robinson. It's a funny combination. Wizards, they'll take Pele Larson. Give him another wing. Warriors, Jalen Bridges. They need thickness, and he's thick as they come. And he's 22. Cam Spencer to the Pistons, they'll want winning. Boston's going to take Mantes. He'll replace Svi Mikhailuk. Lakers, they'll take Adem Bona. They want a big who's just he's from UCLA. AJ Johnson to the Nuggets right here. They get a toolsy guy who's grown a bunch. Memphis here takes Trey Alexander. They need more shooting, and they already drafted his teammate. This pick goes nowhere. I don't think he'll get drafted, but... And the last pick is... Ray Speakman with the last pick.